We've seen many legendary creatures in cartoons and movies like giants, dragons, witches, and vampires and other mythical creatures. But did you know these legendary creatures once existed? Sometimes cartoons and movies are based on real events and creatures, but they change a lot for kids and people. The real stories behind them can be much scarier. Are you brave enough to face the truth?
This is an emergency alert. Severe weather warning is in effect.
A succubus, deeply rooted in mythology and folklore, is a female demon or supernatural entity known for seducing and captivating individuals, often men, through her alluring beauty and charm. Originating from ancient legends, the succubus is believed to enter dreams and engage in intimate relations, draining the life force or essence of her victims. With origins intertwined with medieval beliefs about demons and the spiritual realm, the succubus embodies both desire and danger, representing the allure of forbidden temptations and the consequences of yielding to dark temptations. Throughout history, tales of encounters with succubi have served as cautionary tales, warning of the perils of succumbing to seductive powers that conceal malevolent intent. Today, the concept of the succubus continues to captivate imaginations, evolving through literature, art, and popular culture, where she remains a potent symbol of temptation, mystery, and the eternal struggle between desire and peril. In ancient Greek mythology, the origins of the Minotaur date back to the time of King Minos of Crete. Poseidon, the god of the sea, gave King Minos a magnificent white bull as a sign of divine favor. However, the king's wife, Pasiphae, suffered a curse that led her to feel an unnatural attraction to the bull. Desperate to satisfy her desires, Pasiphae sought the help of Daedalus, the master inventor. Daedalus devised a wooden cow contraction that allowed Pasiphae to mate with the bull, and this resulted in the birth of the monstrous Minotaur. The Minotaur, half human and half bull, possessed a ferocious nature and an insatiable hunger for human flesh. To contain this terrifying creature, King Minos had Daedalus build an intricate labyrinth where the Minotaur was imprisoned. The story of the Minotaur serves as a dark reminder of the consequences of forbidden desires and the tragic results that can arise from the intervention of gods and mortals. Who were the Nephilim? They were giant creatures talked about in the book of Genesis. According to stories, they were a mix of angels and human women. They lived around the time of Noah and Enoch. These giants scared people because they were so big and strong, and they did bad things. Some stories say they were really evil. The Nephilim were very violent and strong, causing a lot of fear and destruction. They're mentioned not just in Genesis, but also in Ezekiel. God got rid of these giants by causing a big flood. We don't know a lot about them, so some people think they might still exist, hidden away somewhere. What do you think? The most mythical creature to ever live still exists, and you don't know about it. Just 3 days ago, a hiker found something unbelievable in the mountains of Scotland. The unicorn, believed to be a fairy tale, is actually real. It all started when a woman named Lena Rodriguez from Indiana went on a hiking trip to Scotland. Lena was exploring the remote wilderness of the land when she found something incredible. Lena spent most of her day hiking in the mountains. Wanting to try something different, she decided to venture into the forest. After walking for 15 minutes, she noticed hoof-like tracks in the mud. Curious, she followed them and was amazed at what she found. Suddenly, she heard thunderous galloping sounds and turned to see a unicorn, a majestic white horse with a single long horn on its head. It let out a loud neigh. In shock, Lena pulled out her phone to record the beautiful creature, but it disappeared into the dense forest before she could capture it. Werewolves are actually real. Yes, you heard that right. Many think of werewolves as fictional creatures, but what if I told you they were real? In 2022, James Clark decided to go on a journey to discover the truth about werewolves. He had heard an old legend stating there was a village full of these creatures in the Russian countryside, so he flew to Russia, hoping to find the village in time for the next full moon. James searched for months, but found nothing. However, one day, he managed to find the village and waited for nighttime. As the full moon began to rise, he suddenly heard a howling noise and turned to look. What he saw will shock you. The entire village began to turn into werewolves. He pulled out his phone to record and quickly sent the footage to his wife, but when he turned to leave, the werewolves started to run towards him. After that day, James was never seen again. The Archangel Michael is one of the few angels that the Bible actually mentions by name, along with Gabriel, a messenger angel, and Satan, the head of all fallen angels. Michael is an intimidating figure and has been described as one of the chief princes, the great prince, and the protector of your people. He is also described as the Archangel in Jude 1:9. Michael is often depicted in art wielding a sword or spear, representing his role as a warrior angel. There are many stories about Michael in various religious texts. One of the most famous stories is that of Michael casting Satan out of heaven. According to the Bible, there was a war in heaven between Michael and his angels and Satan and his followers. Michael and his angels were victorious, and Satan was cast out of heaven. The story of Michael teaches us about the importance of faith and perseverance. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles, and that we have powerful allies who are fighting for us. It also reminds us that evil exists in the world, and that we must be vigilant against it. The reason there are no dragon fossils is that dragons had bones like birds, which were very delicate. Only a small population of these giant flying lizards existed, living in various countries that depicted them in their own stories of fighting dragons. They were eventually killed off by knights or other means and didn't fossilize because their bones were too fragile, like those of an eagle. Scientists say that if there were lizards big enough to fly around and eat people, their bones wouldn't fossilize easily. This explains why many human cultures have stories about dragons. They might have actually existed. We know there were large flying lizards during the time of the dinosaurs. It's possible that a few survived much later than we thought. Do I believe dragons attacked humans and civilizations? No, but it's still an interesting idea. It would be much cooler if they did exist, especially since we know pterodactyls were real. The United States was just caught hiding the last dragon. Justin Gisvold was flying his small private plane through Colorado when he saw something that made him never want to fly again. Justin was supposed to stay on a common air route for safety reasons. However, feeling adventurous that day, he decided to go off course to explore the beautiful landscape. That's when he found something strange. There was a huge clearing in the forest that seemed to go on for miles. Curious, he flew over the clearing. After 3 minutes, he encountered a huge metal enclosure nearly 1,000 feet high and miles wide. Next to the enclosure, he saw dozens of trucks carrying fish. They must be feeding something, he thought. Worried about being caught trespassing, he initially wanted to leave. However, he decided to fly over the enclosure one last time. That's when he saw something he'll never forget. There was a huge dragon flying around inside the enclosure. He couldn't believe his eyes and made sure the camera on his plane was recording. Cerberus, also known as the three-headed hound of hell, is a mythical creature from ancient Greek and Roman mythology. It is said to guard the gates of the underworld, preventing the dead from leaving and the living from entering. Cerberus is often depicted as a large, fierce dog with 3 heads. The creature also played a prominent role in the myth of the hero Hercules. As one of his 12 labors, Hercules was tasked with capturing Cerberus. Hercules accomplished this task using his strength and cunning, subduing Cerberus and bringing him to the surface. This myth likely reflects the idea that even the most fearsome monsters can be overcome through strength and determination. And that is the story of Cerberus. If you enjoyed this post, consider subscribing to stay updated with our future content. Don't forget to leave your feedback in the comments and let us know what you'd like to see next. What topic should our next post cover? We're eager to hear your thoughts.